The Quiet Rebellion: Why Having Everything is Destroying Your Focus, and the Japanese Secret to Getting It Back. Picture this. You have everything money can buy: a six-figure salary, a spacious apartment in a desirable neighborhood, a garage housing 3 cars, and a closet bursting with designer labels still bearing their price tags. Your home is a fortress of convenience, equipped with smart locks, smart lights, smart TVs in every room, and even a smart refrigerator. By every conventional metric of the modern world, you have won the game of life. Yet, ironically, you feel entirely foolish. You wake up every morning not with a sense of triumph, but with a crushing, suffocating weight. You are exhausted before your feet even touch the floor. Have you ever stopped to consider that your relentless pursuit of more money, more gadgets, more options, more productivity is precisely what is leaving you with less? Less energy, less clarity, less peace? This is not a story about giving away your possessions to live barefoot in the woods. It is an exploration of a profound Japanese concept called Seihin, and how the mental discipline of simplicity is the ultimate antidote to the cognitive exhaustion of the modern age. The anatomy of cognitive exhaustion. To understand the cure, we must first examine the disease. Meet Jonah, a 40-year-old marketing executive whose life was a masterclass in modern overwhelm. Jonah's day began at 6:23 a.m. with a barrage of notifications, work emails, unread family group chats, and targeted ads for products he didn't know existed but suddenly felt he desperately needed. His closet was a daily battleground. With 80 shirts to choose from, he suffered from acute choice paralysis. Breakfast was no better. 6 types of artisanal granola, 4 imported coffees, 3 plant-based milks, and a total inability to decide. His commute was an hour and a half of blaring horns, screeching brakes, and answering emails at red lights. By the time he reached the office, his brain was already frayed. He spent his days in autopilot mode, bouncing between spreadsheets, impossible deadlines, and the irresistible twitchy urge to check Instagram or LinkedIn every 3 minutes, terrified he was missing out on something vital. When he finally collapsed onto his sofa at 9 p.m., his brain was so fried he could barely hold a coherent conversation. To soothe the subtle, gnawing emptiness inside him, he would mindlessly scroll through Amazon, buying magnetic knife organizers — he never cooked — and premium toolkits — he never fixed anything. Buying provided a fleeting illusion of control. Jonah was suffering from what neuroscientists call cognitive exhaustion. Our brains were simply not designed to process the absurd avalanche of stimuli, options, and possessions we accumulate today. Studies from institutions like Princeton University have proven that physical clutter constantly competes for our attention. Every object in your field of vision, every notification on your screen, and every trivial choice you make drains a fraction of your mental battery. The breaking point. Jonah's breaking point wasn't a dramatic, cinematic breakdown. It was a Tuesday morning, running late for an important meeting, frantically rummaging through a hallway drawer looking for his car keys. As he pushed aside old flash drives, dead batteries, business cards of strangers, and 6 remote controls for obsolete devices, something inside him snapped. He looked around his apartment. Truly looked at it. He saw shelves groaning under the weight of unread books, exercise equipment functioning as expensive coat racks, and corners piled high with Amazon boxes. A terrifying question pierced his mind. Do I possess these things, or do these things possess me? The workshop of 3 tools. Seeking an escape, Jonah stumbled upon the work of Daisuke, a traditional Japanese artisan living on the quiet outskirts of the city. Hoping to buy a piece of authentic minimalist pottery to fix his chaotic apartment, Jonah drove to Daisuke's home. What he found shattered his worldview. Daisuke's home was a masterclass in deliberate emptiness. A tatami mat, a low wooden table, a single painting, and a small bookcase. There was no visual noise. It felt like stepping out of a hurricane and entering a silent, ancient forest. But it was Daisuke's workshop that truly confused Jonah. It was smaller than his walk-in closet. It contained a wooden potter's wheel, a lump of clay, and exactly 3 tools: a bamboo knife, a natural sponge, and a thin wire. "Is that all?" Jonah asked, stunned. Daisuke smiled. He explained that in his youth he worked in a massive ceramics factory in Japan, surrounded by million-dollar machines, computers, and specialized tools. They produced 1,000 pieces a day, and he was utterly miserable. "Every new machine, every new process stood between me and the clay," Daisuke explained, his hands moving with hypnotic, economical precision over the spinning wheel. "It stood between me and the soul of my work." It was an old master who gave Daisuke the secret. You do not need 100 tools. You need 3 tools and 100 hours of practice. By eliminating everything unnecessary, Daisuke removed the barriers between himself and his creation. No distractions, no excesses, only the essential. The philosophy of Seihin. Daisuke introduced Jonah to Seihin, dignified poverty or honest frugality. It is a gross misunderstanding to view Seihin as a glorification of being broke. Rather, it is the deliberate, rigorous mental discipline of choosing simplicity in a world that begs you to overcomplicate everything. It is about understanding the paradox of choice. The more options you have, the harder it is to decide, and the unhappier you will be with your final decision, forever haunted by the ghost of, "What if I chose the other one?" Daisuke taught Jonah 3 supporting pillars to reclaim his mind. 1. Mushin, the empty mind, the state samurai sought before battle, a mind entirely free from external and internal noise, allowing for pure, unclouded action. 2. Zanshin, total presence, a relaxed, alert state of full attention. When you wash the dishes, you only wash the dishes. You feel the water. You don't worry about tomorrow's quarterly review. 3. Wabi-sabi and kintsugi, the celebration of imperfection. Daisuke's bowls were never perfectly symmetrical. When a piece broke, it was repaired with gold, kintsugi, highlighting the fracture rather than hiding it. It teaches us to stop chasing the toxic myth of a flawless, mass-produced life and to find deep value in what is real, weathered, and unique. The Great Purge. Jonah left the workshop without a ceramic bowl, but with a seed planted in his mind. He realized that his relentless consumption was merely emotional anesthesia. He wasn't buying objects, he was trying to buy peace of mind. He began ruthlessly applying Seihin to his life. He started with his closet, applying a brutal rule: if I haven't worn it in 3 months, it's gone. 80 shirts became 20. Suddenly, getting dressed took 2 minutes. There was no anxiety, no second guessing. Because he had fewer clothes, the ones he kept became infinitely more valuable to him. He purged his kitchen of unused gadgets. He cleared the visual noise from his shelves. The apartment finally began to breathe, and as the physical space cleared, the mental fog lifted. But Seihin is a holistic discipline. Jonah took it further. The digital fast. He instituted a strict no-screens rule an hour before bed. The first few nights were agonizing. His hands twitched for his phone like a recovering addict, but soon his racing mind slowed. He slept deeply for the first time in a decade. The power of no. He stopped agreeing to every happy hour and unnecessary meeting. He allowed blank spaces to exist on his calendar. In those spaces, he rediscovered productive boredom, the time to actually sit, think, and exist without reacting. Single tasking. He closed the 15 browser tabs he kept open permanently. He stopped multitasking. He did one thing, gave it his full zanshin, presence, finished it, and moved on. Ironically, by doing less, his output quality skyrocketed. The legacy of less. 2 years later, Jonah's life is unrecognizable. His apartment is spacious, featuring a few high-quality items he genuinely cherishes, including a single, slightly asymmetrical bowl made by Daisuke. He only owns one car. He still works his high-pressure corporate job, but he leaves at 6 p.m. sharp. He still has a smartphone, but it is stripped of social media and push notifications. He still buys things, but only after passing a rigorous mental filter. Does this serve my purpose, or is this just momentary anesthesia? The beautiful paradox of Jonah's journey? By aggressively seeking less, he gained everything he had been frantically searching for. He gained focus, he gained time, he gained a profound, unshakable peace of mind. Look around your own life. What is currently consuming your mental energy without adding real value? Is it the clutter on your desk, the apps buzzing in your pocket, the social obligations you dread, the pursuit of a perfectly curated life? Whatever it is, ask yourself, what would happen if you simply let it go? Simplicity is not a destination, it is a daily discipline. Start today. Let go of the heavy, useless things you carry and watch how quickly you learn to breathe again.